Why small farmers borrow from informal sector? Reason is that they hesitate to go to the banks. They are illiterate and not aware. They also lack collateral. They borrow for unproductive purposes like family rituals. They are unable to fulfill the documents needed in the banks. Sometimes banks are far away and they cannot approach them, and money lenders are easily available and can provide them loans easily. Why are the banks not advancing loans to the poor people? Reason is that poor people do not have anything to offer as collateral security. Banks are not available in many rural areas. Banks do not consider the poor people as creditworthy. Poor and ignorant people find it difficult to produce the needed documents. Graph 2 shows the importance of formal and informal sources of credit for people in urban areas. The people are divided into four groups from poor to rich. You can see that 85% of the loans taken by poor households in the urban areas are for informal sources. But for the rich urban households, only 10% of their loans are from informal sources, while 90% are from formal sources. A similar pattern is found in rural areas. The rich households are availing cheap credit from formal lenders, whereas the poor household have to pay a large amount for borrowing. This means that formal sector still meets only half of the total credit needs of the rural people, and remaining credit needs are met from informal sources. Loans from informal lenders have a very high interest rate and do little to increase the income of the borrowers. So, it is necessary that banks and cooperatives increase their lending, particularly in the rural areas, so that the dependence on informal sources of credit reduces. It is also important that the formal credit is distributed more equally so that poor can benefit from the cheaper loans. Let's work these out. Why is cheap and affordable credit is important for the country's development? Next, what are the reasons that banks might not be willing to lend to certain borrowers? And why are small farmers dependent on informal sources of credit in India?